Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and here I have the Himalayan Nut Pine, also known as Chilgoza pine. A plant, well, the name says it all. It's a Chilgoza, whatever this is supposed to be. I guess this is some Afghan word, or maybe Pakistani word. Well, the name Himalayan Nut Pine. So it's a pine. It produces nuts, mostly edible nuts, if it's in the name. It comes from the Himalaya, actually from the border area between China, India, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. And I knew about this plant long before I ever saw the seeds. You know why? Like 25 years ago, we liked to forage Mediterranean stone pine nuts in Italy and bring them back to Germany. And then our Afghan or Iranian friends, by the way, CIA, don't start tracking me now. Those were all refugees from Afghanistan and Iran. They would go and always try to open the Mediterranean pine nuts with their teeth. And Mediterranean pine nuts are incredibly tough, so we always had to stop them very urgently because they thought they know better than us how to open them because they confused them with this species. Well, we saved the teeth of all our friends back then, and now 25 years later I finally laid my eyes on the Himalayan nut pine. So this is a tree that grows in USDA Zone 8. That means it should be even possible to cultivate it in warmer parts of Germany, and if not, then maybe in some valleys of the Alps with quite mild weather. It grows in the western Himalayas, in valleys between 2,000 and 3,500 meters above sea level. So I guess in Europe it would grow in some mild areas in the southern Alps, maybe around 1,000, 1,500 meters. In an area with, not too much rain, no monsoon. And interestingly enough, because the Himalayas are quite a tall mountain, 3,500 meters, that's still the valley bottoms. That's over 11, 12,000 feet. And that's why it basically grows in the valley bottoms and lower slopes of those valleys in the Himalaya. And because of the big mountains, the population is fragmented. I wonder if there are subspecies then. It is also slightly threatened for different reasons. Of course, it's a pine. Some people will use the timber instead of waiting for the nuts. That's the dilemma of many trees. You either get some profit every year from the fruits or other things, or you just chop them down and get the profit once. Also, despite them producing food, often their populations are also being cut down for agricultural land. They are being used for, the areas are being used for pastures, which is also bad, especially for the young trees, especially for reproduction. Of course, in those countries, most of the cones are also being harvested, so that it's difficult for enough natural reproduction. The trees usually grow with several stems branching from the ground. I wonder how natural this is, or if this is a result of frequent grazing and destruction by fires and other means. Well, it is. There are a lot of conservation efforts because it's an important staple in those areas. There are a couple nature conservation areas with and for the species. There are plantations in Afghanistan. And it's a valuable resource. I've seen videos, probably from Tibet, how people harvest it. Apparently you collect the still unripe looking green cones and then you rip them apart with your hands. Very unlike the harvesting of the Mediterranean pine, when you just leave them to dry out in the heat and to crack open. And this is also quite an expensive nut. In this Persian shop, the cheapest nut started from 10 euro a kilo. This was by far the most expensive, for 40 euro a kilo. Now let's look at them. They are much more narrow than the Mediterranean stone pine seeds. They are covered with some brown stuff similar to the Mediterranean stone pine. which is covered with the brown dust, which you have to wipe off. They are much softer than the Mediterranean stone pine. I cracked this with one hand without much effort, and you can also crack them between your teeth. But now let's try up. Okay, this is the nut that's inside. I wonder if you have to remove the parchment-like skin. No, doesn't look like that. No. This one was definitely rancid. Pine nuts or any nuts are not supposed to taste like that. It is rancid. What about the next one? I broke it in half. Oh, the inside doesn't look good. I think they are not supposed to be that dark inside. Come on, focus. I'm sure this one will be rancid too. Ah, finally. One that looks more or less okay. Tastes like a pine nut, but the piney flavor is much weaker than in the Mediterranean pine. Oh no, come on. Another bad one. Ah, this one was good, but I broke it. This one has a slightly stronger piney flavor, but still, I would say weaker than in the Mediterranean pine. Using my teeth now. Oh, the next one. Again, seem to be good. Well, you basically get the point. The ones which are white inside are good. The ones which are brown and taste rancid are rancid. So really happy I finally managed to try this pine. Tell me, especially if you are from one of those areas, about your experiences with this pine, with the Himalayan nut pine. Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful and incredibly fruit-rich ethnic shops here in Germany. And of course, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.